Imagine being the CEO that spearheaded the removal of DEI incentives, initiatives, programs within the company, right? You didn't think about the possible loss in profit. You didn't do the research to check and see in which demographic your top consumers lie in. No. Instead, because of your possibly racist ass, possibly allegedly, guidelines, you jumped at the opportunity. You jumped at the chance to finally remove DEI programs from the company as soon as Donald Trump signed that executive order in January. Not even a full 7 months, 8 months. After 11 years with the company, you have to they announce that you are going to be stepping down. You lost your job. You are no longer the CEO of the company. All because your possibly racist ass wanted to make it more unfair for people of color in the workplace. We're talking about Target, by the way. We're talking about Target.
We have some news right now. Target's CEO is stepping down after 11 years. Why? Primarily because sales for the company have slumped. It looks like your boycotts, well, they're working. A lot of people questioned whether or not boycotting Target because Target decided to roll back its DEI practices would work, and it's clear that it is. I mean, I got several tips way back in February and March when it was first happening of stores seeing less employees, managers telling me there are less sales coming in at individual stores, and now we're seeing the results of it because Target sales this year have really plummeted. The company is facing significant backlash for rolling back its DEI practices and protections, and now it's forced the CEO of the company to literally step down. This is a major development, and we'll see what this new CEO that Target picked, whether or not that new CEO will change the way it's been done and bring back the DEI practices and potentially put an end to the boycotts. But
Target CEO Brian Cornell is stepping down and resigning as CEO of Target after its 11th reported quarter of flat or declining sales. Target now announced a foolproof plan to combat the declining and flattening sales by recruiting another white CEO into the position. Well, at least on the bright side, this guy started as an intern, worked his way up, is currently COO, but will be the CEO for next quarter. So Target would much rather just continue to replace CEOs, saying that that's where the issue is, and completely ignoring the fact that people are striking and not purchasing from them because of their DEI rollbacks. So we'll continue to do what we do. You can follow for more news updates, but you don't have to.
Baby, he's done. He's gone. He's out of there. Question is, are you? Are you still done with Target now that he won't be there? Target CEO Brian Cornell is stepping down after more than a decade of up. One of America's most trusted brands. I know Target was my favorite big box retailer. Now I consider them deplorable trash. This leadership change comes amid persistent declines, and sales and significant criticism of Target's retreat from its diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. And this is where Target had us all up. Within weeks of the DEI rollbacks, market value dropped by $12.4 billion and the stock price fell over $27 per share. Target saw a 3.1% drop in Q2 2025 sales and a significant decline in foot traffic. In total, some sources attribute more than $15 billion in lost revenue and a plunge in share price, all related to their decision to drop DEI. So baby, he's gone. But his replacement is the current COO, a 20-year Target vet, who was in the room when these decisions were made in the first place. So are we about to go back or not?
You know, when you decide to scale back on your DEI initiatives and you lose $12 billion in revenue, and then you notice a 21% net income loss during the second quarter of this year, I guess I will step down as CEO, as the CEO of Target, Mr. Brian Cornell. I think you have made a good decision. And me and thousands of other Americans decided to boycott Target. And I'm still boycotting Target. So I wish I felt sorry for Target, but I do not feel sorry for Target.
Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for your support and thank you so much for clicking on this video. In today's video, let's talk about Target. Target is in the headlines again, and this time it's not about a boycott or a violent hand, it's about leadership. After more than a decade at the top, Target CEO Brian Cornell is stepping down effective February 1st, 2026. The company's Chief Operating Officer, Michael Fiddelke, will take over as the new CEO. Let's get to the video, but before, let me play a few clips on the same, and I'll be back with my own commentary. All credit goes to the original creators of each and every video you see here.
Yes, you heard correctly. The former, because now we can say that, the former CEO of Target and Target has announced today that he will be stepping down as CEO. And I want to make it very clear to you guys. Anytime they say that they're stepping down, that is code for, I got to leave before they fire me. I got to leave before they fire me. And the reason why he got to leave before they fire him is because on Wednesday, Target sales fell for the third consecutive quarter. Right? In total, for year to date, Target stocks have fallen exactly 30%. 30%. They're losing a lot of money. A lot of money. 11 years with the company. By the way, they're not even letting him finish out this year so he can have an even 12. Nah, you gotta get the hell out of here. It's August. It's about to be fucking September. Might as well let him finish this, the year. But they're like, nah, not one more quarter. You don't get another quarter out of 2025. So after 11 years of being with the company, because of that idiotic decision in removing DEI, you lost your job in less than 7 to 8 months. You lost your job. Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? The icing on the cake is his replacement. I'm pretty sure he probably also, was excited about being able to remove DEI programs and incentives and whatever for the company so that he didn't have to worry about his replacement possibly being a person of color. Whole time, his replacement is a former intern of the company. You probably trained him. You probably trained him for your job. That's crazy. And yeah, he's not really leaving Target. He will still be an executive. But I want you guys to understand the difference in that pay cut. Oh, he's going to feel. He's definitely going to feel. He's not the CEO no more. He's not the CEO no more. And he would have continued making the big bucks had he just leave the DEI programs alone. They weren't bothering anybody. They weren't hurting anybody. And in fact, it was actually helping the sales and the stock and the profit margin for Target. But now you've lost that. You've lost the respect of your highest consumers, your top consumers. So to all of the people of color who lost their jobs due to that CEO and the removal of the DEI programs, go and take a shot today. Take a shot at the news of him losing his job now. Take a shot. You deserve it. And to all of my willing participants in this Black consumer protest boycott that we have started and we've been standing strong in, I just want you guys to know, keep up the good work, continue standing strong. I understand that sometimes we want change to happen overnight, but it doesn't happen overnight. And I'm pretty sure when we continued or we started this boycott back in February and March, the CEO didn't think that he'd be losing his job towards the end of August.
After 11 years on the job, the CEO of Target will be stepping down. And this really all comes down to one reason, because the last few years of Target have been tough sales-wise. But this last year in particular, 2024 leading into 2025, has been one of the worst years Target has ever experienced in declining sales. So the board has laid that at the feet of the CEO, Brian Cornell, and now he will be stepping down as of February. Now, Target has already named their next candidate to take over as CEO. I believe his name is Michael Fiddelke. And who knows what this man's vision for the future of the company is, but I can tell you right now, I ain't shopping there. But ladies and gentlemen, at a time when people are feeling like they do not have much power, at a time when people are feeling like they do not have much influence, I would like to remind you that this company has not been able to bounce back from people deciding they would boycott them all the way back in November. They've tried many different methods to win back the favor of the customer base that they've lost, but it has not worked. And now the CEO who was behind those decisions is stepping down. These are the type of results that people can have when they stand together when they focus on a goal, when they remain disciplined, and they see it all the way through. We could apply this to other areas in our nation, by the way. There is still time for the people to remind the wealthy class, the billionaire class, the corporations, that they don't have the control that they think they do. Take this moment as a lesson. It should definitely be seen as a victory, but there is a lot more work to come.
Forbes just announced that the CEO of Target, Brian Cornell, is stepping down after the third quarter of dropping profits and after their shares have dropped by over 20% since they rolled back DEI. Now, do not be fooled, because he is still going to be on the board of directors, and they are pulling their new CEO from that same board of directors who made the decisions to roll back DEI. This is not them acknowledging that they made a mistake. I have some pretty strong opinions about this as somebody who lived in Minneapolis for over 5 years, is originally from Texas and has moved back, and as a full-time content marketer. And I'm probably going to get some hate for saying this, but I think this moment really showcases, or should showcase to people, but I don't think they're going to make the connection. For a long time now, it's no secret that Target has marketed as like woke Walmart, basically. Leaned into DEI. They've done the rainbow capitalism up and down. The moment there was even the slightest pushback, they capitulated immediately. And I'm going to get some hate for saying this, but you know what? I'm going to say it because literally when we had the floods and stuff, y'all were literally like, Texans deserve to die. Like all those kids were just going to end up like bigots or something. Minneapolis is 80% white. And I am from a city that is only 45% white. Like we are in a majority city. Like most people here are not white. And I think this highlights how blue states can be incredibly performative. We're talking about the same blue state that killed Philando Castile and then a few years later killed George Floyd under Boot Hill. I'm going to vote blue. I don't want Trump to be in office anymore. But I'm saying this because so many times, so many people use this mentality to like dehumanize people in red states. HEB is as Texan as it gets. Our biggest grocery chain, the one that has consistently won awards, they were like, nah, we're standing on DEI. And you go in there on Juneteenth and they've got like a live band. We got people in there dancing. Like, nah, we're good. We're doing DEI. I think a lot of Texans know this. I mean, 46% of Texans voted blue, when meanwhile, this brand from like a blue state capitulated without like a thought. Anecdotally, I haven't been to Target since this whole thing started. And you know what I was just thinking this morning? I was like, you know what? I don't need Target. I don't want to go back. I don't miss it. I don't need to go there. I can get my groceries at HEB. Fuck them. All right, I'm going to get off here. Let's see if I'm going to post this because I'm like, I'm nervous. I'm bashful. Again, no hate to the Midwest. I'm just saying that like if you look into things and if you're comfortable leaning into the gray areas and trying to figure out like who's really down for DEI, who's really doing the work, it may surprise you.
At first glance, this might sound like just another corporate shakeup, but the timing tells a deeper story. Target has been struggling. Sales are down, profits are slipping, and the company's stock plunged more than 20% after the announcement. For a retailer that once stood tall against giants like Walmart and Amazon, this marks a sharp turn. So what went wrong? Let's rewind a little bit. Under Cornell's leadership, Target became a household name again. He was credited with modernizing stores, improving digital sales, and making Target more competitive. For years, the brand had a reputation for being stylish, affordable, and family-friendly. But in the past few years, cracks started to show. One major issue has been declining sales. Comparable store sales have dropped nearly 2% and profits have fallen by almost 20%. Customers are not spending like they used to, and many are turning to cheaper alternatives in a tough economy. Inflation has stretched families thin, and even loyal shoppers are turning back. Another big factor was Target's controversial rollback of its DEI programs. After years of promoting inclusivity, the company pulled back in the face of political pressure and conservative backlash. That decision didn't quite the critics, it only made things worse. Conservatives still boycotted, accusing Target of wokeness, while progressives and minority shoppers felt the treat. That backlash fed into declining sales and hurt the brand's once strong reputation. And it wasn't just about DEI, it was about trust. Customers began to see Target as a company that folded under pressure rather than standing for its values. And now, as the numbers slip and confidence in the brand fades, the board clearly felt it was time for new leadership. Michael Fiddelke, the incoming CEO, is being presented as the man with answers. He is credited with saving Target's billions through efficiency projects and operational changes. But the big question is whether he can repair Target's image and win back the shoppers who have walked away. For everyday people, this is not just a business story, it's about how politics and economics collide in our daily lives. A boycott here, a policy change there, and suddenly the stores we rely on are struggling to stay afloat. Target is a proof that corporations can't just ride slogans on pre-built signs. Decisions have consequences and customers notice. Brian Cornell's departure marks the end of an era for Target. The company now faces a crossroads: rebuild trust, reconnect with customers, and find its place in a changing retail landscape, or risk fading into the background as just another struggling big box store. Only time will tell if the new CEO can turn things around. But one thing is certain: Target's troubles shows that leadership matters, values matters, and in the end, customers always decide the fate of a brand. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.